Hey everybody, this will be part one today of our Junk Journal accordion folder. Anyway, I'm super excited to kind of show you some of the things that I've been dreaming up. So we'll get going. Now, first of all, this is going to act as your hinging for all of your accordion folds. So this is just cotton fabric. You could use sari silk, you could use a lace, whatever you have on hand. You don't need to make it complicated. But this one for me, I just used some dyed cotton and just tore it. These shorter pieces, I have two of them. They are about 22 inches long. And then this long one, I have only one of it. It's in the middle. And that one is double that, so about 44 inches. And the reason that one's long is because then these centers will fold in and be the ties. So that is why I did that. All right, so for today I just kind of want to show you the different styles of pockets and some of the different ideas that I did for the pages of this. I'm not going to do sewing on camera, but I'm going to tell you right now the cards I used, how I made the pockets, and what I'm hoping to be doing with them when I do the sewing. So to start out with, I just printed off these cards. You could use any. Let me tell you the size of these, because then you can just use any cardstock that you have. Let's go for inches. So this is 7 inches tall, and it looks like about 3 1/4 wide is the size that I'll be working with, so that might just help you if you want to follow along. Or you can just buy these and they just come just like this and you cut them out. Now for mine, I used 2 of each, a total of 12 cards, and then 2 of each of those, so 24 cards. And I chose to use 2 of the same. You know, for example, so this, on this card, these are the same. But I wanted the images to line up, so that's why I did that. But you wouldn't have to. You could use plain paper to do your pockets. Just know that you have lots of options. Okay, so I cut out my cards, 2 of each of the same, and then I just started designing my pockets. Now, when I'm going to lay these out so you can see them. So this is how this will go. And it will line up here. I'm going to pull that one over just a hair, because you don't want these bottom ones, these 2 strings, you don't want them sticking out on the edge. The center one, you want it centered, so you have this much on one end, this much, and then that much on. Can you see clear down here on this end? You can't see it, but a big string left over on this side. So those will be the ties. But for the 2 short ones, you want those hidden. So I'm going to tell you the construction. I'm going to sew first before I sew these cards onto my cotton strands. But I'm just going to kind of show you the construction. I'm going to leave probably, I mean, it's a 1/4 inch to maybe 1/3 of an inch in between each one. That way I'm going to feel like, hey, I can stuff some pockets here and get little notebooks and things like that. So I'll be setting it up something like this. And we're going to run out of room, but just know I'll walk you through it the best I can, and you'll know what's going on, hopefully. All right, now if you get to the end and you have little extras, let me see if I can show you. I'm scared. See, I have little extra strings sticking off there on the end. After I sew, I'm going to trim that down, but I wanted to leave it for now, just in case I decide to make it thicker or whatnot. Okay, so I have my 6 cards lined up, and then I'm also going to have 6 cards that are going to go, here's this will be the very front cover. The one that you place here will be the very front cover. But so when I sew it, this will come clear behind everything. So you'll have two pretty sides. So I just lined them up like this. You can't really see the top ends of those, but that's okay. You don't need to see it for now. You just need to know you've got a front and a back to each little card. And I am just lining them up so I know what goes where. All right. So there are my 12 sides. And that's how you're going to lay it out. Now, I'm just going to walk you through each design of each pocket. Now, like I said, this is the front, so I didn't put anything on that guy. When I fold this accordion all together, this piece will be front. Now, this little pocket, I just, like I said, two of the same card, and I just sliced one of them almost in half, a little bit more generous, and then this will be a tuck spot this direction. All right, this one, I'm making a belly band. I want to make a fun little notebook that's going to go in there. So I just have some beautiful lace that I will be sewing on each side of this before we go ahead and sew around each card. So that one's going to require some sewing beforehand. This one, I took the card and I cut off, I can measure for you real quick if you want to know. Let's do inches. About 2 1/4 inch, 2 1/2 for the bottom. And then these other ones are just like, 1 1/2 inches. And then what I did is I did my hole punch on each of them and I lined them up and did it together so that they would all be lined up together. And then I'm just going to tuck this under here, and I'll tuck this one down under here. And when I sew everything, it will lock those in place and you'll just have 3 little pockets. I did choose a card that I thought it wouldn't matter so much if everything in the pictures didn't line up perfectly. And I think this one worked great for that. All right, this one was fun. So this is actually the way that this card goes. So you'll see I just cut here on a diagonal and then trimmed off that little point right there. Oh, you can't see it. Here we are. There we are. I cut along this diagonal and then trimmed off that little point. And then with this piece that was left over, I just trimmed off a little more, flipped it upside down, and trimmed off that little piece right there. So we have 2 little corner pockets. And I am going to put a little bit of lace right there on the bottom of that one. All right, this one that's off camera, I took the card. Let's see how it went. It was like this. And I just cut 2 little pockets out of it, left this one in this place. And I'm turning this one sideways. I was thinking, ooh, that would be fun to go sideways. And then I realized when I sew around it, that might cause problems because I'll seal it shut. So I decided, ooh, that'll be fun. We'll just have a skinny pocket right there and layer them. So there's that one. All right, this one is, I'll get the lace out of the way so I can show you how this one will go. This card came like so, and I cut right there on the diagonal, and then I flipped it upside down so I could get the same angle, and then I cut the top off of this card. Just like that. So there's how it went. A cut here, and then this will tuck under just a hair. But I purposefully didn't cut circles out of these half circles because then I would have to push this down further and then my butterfly wouldn't line up quite as well. So, but you could do that if you wanted. No big deal. All right, this little guy, I'm going to do some kind of, I don't know, plastic cellophane and have something fun in there. So I just cut the card in half and then cut with my square punch, or you could do it by hand. And then that'll be a pocket, but I'm also going to sew some kind of cellophane window with some fun little, I don't know, I haven't decided yet. So there's that idea. This is another just sideways pocket. Just cut the card in half lengthwise. And this will have lace behind it to add something different, and that'll just be a side pocket tuck. This one's really easy. This is how the card originally was. and I just cut it, and I used one of my fun little hole punches to get a fun little lacy edge. You could add lace or just leave it straight or do a half circle, whatever you want. And then this will be a tuck, and that'll be a tuck. All right, this one, I just cut the top off of this card right here, and I am going to make a little notebook, just a little journaling book, and it will slide down into here. So I'm just going to leave that open so that that back cover of the notebook can slide right in there, and it'll be nice and secure. And I just did that to remind myself that's what I'm doing. So, all right, the last one, super easy. I just had this scrap left over from another one. I could have used like the top of this one, and maybe I'll go back and do that if I can find the scrap. But I just cut this right here and did a lacy pocket, and then I just made this to be another tiny little pocket at the bottom. So 2 little tiny pockets there, and that one will be done. So I will go and sew these around these different edges, the little things that need to be done before I can go ahead and actually connect everything. And then I will come back and show you where we're at. Bye.